What's going on, y'all? Brother Doug here. And I could have did the review the other day when I came home from the movies, but I wanted to wait till the weekend so everybody can see it. This video will have spoilers, but I'm gonna wait to the end. I want to try something new. I want to give a spoiler-free review and my afterthoughts about it, and then at the end I'm gonna do some spoiler talk. So let's get started. The movie was awesome, man. I'm not to think, and y'all know I'll be tweeting about it, Facebooking about it, message boarding about it, ranting about it. I'm not really a Superman fan, I just think that the reason why a lot of you guys ask me is, he's too easy of a superhero. He has super strength, he has flight, he has laser eyes, he has heat vision, frost breath, too many powers. He's not really relatable. No human can really relate to that. But with Zack Snyder and what Nolan did, they humanized him a bit, and the movie was fantastic. I know his weakness is kryptonite, but how many people possess kryptonite like that? Like, oh, I want to kick Superman's ass, but I need kryptonite. I'm shit out of luck. If you guys have been rolling with me for 5 years, yes, this year marked my 5th anniversary of doing blogs on YouTube. You guys know that I'm not really a fan of the critics. Only listen to the critics and watch other people's reviews after I see a movie. I am my own critic. But a lot of critics are bashing it, like saying that it doesn't really remind them of the Christopher Reeve Superman, and that it has too much action. Like, really, too much action? Yeah, because we don't want that when watching a superhero movie. Where they do that at? Also, they were saying that it was too much Clark and too much Russell Crowe. Like, huh? Yeah, because we came there to see Lois. Where they do that at? I'm serious. I saw the movie in 2D, and visually, it was still amazing. The Krypton, because I'm not really a big Superman fan. I don't really know much about the Kryptonian mythology, but Krypton was pretty tight. Had the little animals. It reminded me of John Carter world. Where they have hairless animals that have excess skin and whatnot. It was pretty cool. I like the little device, the little floating device, the little monitor that I guess has liquid and it could transport, but I guess mold itself into like a baby monitor or someone's head, or it's pretty cool. It's really hard to explain because I don't really know the terminology with Superman, but you guys know what I'm talking about, the little floating monitor that was kind of like a communicator a little bit, like Kryptonian's version of Skype. I like the acting. I don't know why people bag on the acting, saying that Henry Cavill didn't do a good job, or Amy Adams. Well, the thing about Amy Adams is, one thing I do know about Lois Lane, she's not really a redhead, so I was like, oh, did they just pull a Ninja Turtles on us? What's going on? But Amy Adams, she played that role, but so I gotta give her props. Diane Lane, she played young and old Martha Kent. Zod. Now I want to talk about this real quick. The villain, Feora, if that's her name, she was more badass than Zod was. She could have been the main villain and called it a day. But Zod, I can't remember what he was doing. I know Superman. Oh, wait to the spoilers. I know that Superman, fights him and whatnot, but he had more badass fights with Feora than he did with Zod. So that's just me. That's my opinion. One of my favorite scenes, though, was when Clark, was working at that bar, and the dude went up to him and tried to boss up, and then poured beer on him. And Clark was doing like me, I'm not no punk, but I'm gonna do what Jesus said and turn the other cheek, So I'm just gonna, back off. But he got his revenge, though. He put that truck on that electric post. Good one, Clark. I would have did something like that if I had super strength like that. Who wouldn't do that? But I really enjoyed how, a lot of people are comparing, Jesus to Superman, and, a lot of people take references from Bible. Y'all just not noticing? Pinocchio, Joan of Arc, Jonah and the whale, or Jonah and the fish. They don't really know if it's a whale. Remember how Pinocchio got trapped in Monstro, and remember how Jonah got trapped in that fish? Jafar, he wanted the source of power. Lucifer, Jesus' enemy. Come on, man. Y'all just not picking up on Bible references. So Superman, when Clark was a kid, when he was getting made fun of on the bus, you guys seen the movie? It's not really a spoiler, but it showed, when you guys seen in the trailers, when the bus is sinking in the water. Before that, a few seconds before that, some dude was making fun of him. So Clark, he just kept his peace. But then when the bus went down, at the end, after he saved the bus, there was one kid missing, and it was the kid that was making fun of him. He saved him, So Clark proved that, sometimes, in the Bible it says to love your enemy. So he treated the enemy fair. So big ups to that. Lawrence Fishburne did great. Kevin Costner did great. They all did great, really. The only problem I had with the movie, it was too long. Like, I don't even know what scenes I would cut out, but the movie was just too long. Alright, to wrap things up before I get to the spoiler talk, I'm going to give this movie 4 out of 5. I'll give it 4 out of 5 because you got to know why. It was too long. But other than that, it was still spectacular. It was fantastic. I requested this movie, see it twice. I did see it twice. I saw it on midnight on Thursday, and I saw it on Saturday with my pops and little brother. So, yeah, I told you I was money's worth, and it looks like it grossed 125 million over the weekend. And so they're already fast tracking Man of Steel 2, which I understand is going to have Supergirl, because remember when Clark went to that pod, there was one empty, and I read like a little comic over the weekend that came with the people who bought the tickets from Walmart, like a little prequel comic, and it had like Supergirl. Basically, it's a prequel. Supergirl's going to be in the movie. So with that being said, y'all, 4 out of 5. Man of Steel 2 is on the way. I believe it's next year. Yeah, it's going to be pretty rushed. And 2015, Justice League. Welcome to the spoiler talk. Alright, so did anyone notice that Zod and Superman brought down Wayne Enterprises' satellite? Batman reference? Batman better mention that in Justice League or the Batman Superman crossover or something. Like, hey, you took my satellite down. You know, the little voice he does. I hope they don't do that in Justice League. I hated that voice. But anyway, there's some more, the LexCorp truck gas tank trailer, and there was the LexCorp building. I noticed that. So Lex Luthor might be in, sequel or maybe third movie, Justice League. I don't know. Well, Justice League, they're saying Darkseid's going to be the villain. So you never know. That the tornado scene with Clark Kent and his family, with Jonathan and Martha. I would have saved my dad personally, even if he told me not to. And Kraven's course like, I would have saved my dad. I don't give a fuck if these people know if I could do supernatural stuff. I'm saving my father. If the blood is thicker than water, and what are people gonna do? I mean, they're gonna already know that. I know he said he wasn't the world wasn't ready for him to be exposed like that. But still, Dad, you in danger. You gonna lose your life over a tornado for real? So now that the movie did its box office numbers, big announcements to come during Comic-Con. That's what I'm hearing. Justice League news. We'll probably see the cast finally. Remember back in 2010 when they announced the cast of Avengers, and then 2 years later, after that, 2012, we get Avengers. And 2 years, this is 2013, 2015, we get Justice League. Do the math. But I know DC's not trying to compete with Marvel like that. But personally, a lot of y'all have been asking me, how do I feel? Do you think they should do a sequel to Man of Steel, or you think they should, introduce other DC heroes for the Justice League? Well, yes and no. I know with Marvel it was successful because they did introduce Iron Man, Thor, and Cap with these movies, with their single movies, and of course Hulk, and we already knew about him. But with DC, I mean, we watch the cartoons and stuff. I know a lot of people don't watch the shows and aren't really familiar with the DC heroes. I'm familiar with a few of them. The main ones. Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. I'm not really too familiar with Green Lantern, but I'm familiar with Teen Titans and whatnot. But still, if you can branch out and do stuff like Batman and Superman crossover, and then maybe introduce a few heroes like Wonder Woman. I know they gave some nods to Aquaman when Clark after the oil rig. Remember when he jumped in the water and he seen those whales? A lot of people were speculating that that's a little reference to Aquaman. So I mean, if you do little pinching nods like that, maybe. But I just can't wait for Justice League personally. So I hope my answer didn't confuse anybody who asked me that question. So yes, they should do the Justice League before they do any other superhero movies. And yes, there is going to be a sequel to Man of Steel that's coming before Justice League. So I hope that made sense. That's the end of spoiler talk. That's the end of the review. What did you guys feel about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. Who do you think should be on the Justice League? I'm already hearing rumors that Chadwick Boseman, who played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42, is going to play John Stewart, or Cyborg. And John Stewart is the Green Lantern, the Black Green Lantern, if I could say that. So, how do y'all feel? Who should be in the Justice League? Who's y'all lineup? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, share the video, post a video response. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Do whatever you can to stay in contact with me. And like always, have hope and deuces.